The student expected 4 LEDs to flash in synchrony, but the code does not compile. And when one mistake was fixed, it did compile, but 3 of the 4 LED lights stayed on. Here's the code. Pause and troubleshoot before I do. One problem is the syntax typed for the pin mode command. In Arduino C, there's no prefix in this case. Down in the loop to set pins low, LED 3 is set twice and LED 4 not at all. That looks like a copy-paste error where the change was not made immediately after the paste. Next, we see a hard-coded value for the duration of the pause. Given that a duration variable was declared, the coder probably forgot to use it here. Last is a very common mistake. There's no pause after the LEDs are set to low. That means there's no time for the user to see the LEDs off, so it looks like they're constantly on. We need to put here the same delay as after setting the pins high. I'm going to leave the power on this time to observe the LEDs while we do our diagnostics. Remember that this trim pot is just to adjust the brightness for the video camera exposure. It will always be correct in these videos. Let's follow the current for the dead LED on pin 2. The jumper looks fine, and the resistor is brown, black, red, which is fine. Connection to ground is fine. There's one last common mistake before we consider a bad component, and that is an LED in backwards. With the leads cut off, it's hard to tell, but we can just reverse it. That works. In hardware, we began troubleshooting by eliminating the most common wiring mistakes, and then were able to find the reversed LED. In software, we deleted a leading object name in pin mode and the wrong pin number in the third loop. The pause in the off state has been added, and both pauses use the value in the duration flash variable. In the complete version of this episode, the objective is the same, but the code uses a collection to work with the multiple pins. This is the better design, but you may find it challenging to identify the mistakes. Here's a tip. Consider cutting short the leads of the components you use when breadboarding. That reduces the forest of bare wires that confuses the eye. It also cuts out the possibility of leads shorting against each other. I then like to mark the flat edge of the LEDs with a black permanent marker so I can see the orientation from several centimeters away.